Child, y'all better pay attention to what's happening right now. Cracker Barrel, struggling. Target, struggling. Hospitals, shutting down. Why? Because the white dollar by itself won't keep these companies afloat. And while they play DEI, baby, they need our talent, ingenuity, and brilliance. And when black folks start pulling back their talent, their time, child, struggling. And we already seen what happened to Target. And when we start pulling our money back, baby, they gonna find out. See, what some white folks don't understand is this. Black people are a gift. Our ingenuity, our creativity, our brilliance. It's been the lifeline of this country. We've poured into it, even when this country gave us nothing in return. And let's not forget our buying power. Our buying power hit over $1.7 trillion in 2023. Baby, that's not pocket change. That's why we see these corporations chase us when they need us. But the second they're done, baby, they toss us to the side. And that's why I don't care if Cracker Barrel puts a poster of Barack Obama up. Baby, I'm still not eating there. And I don't care if Carnival Cruises comes crawling back, talking about we love diversity. I see the game. I won't be back. And Target, let me be real clear. The last time I stepped foot in that store was the last time. Period. Y'all don't get to play in our faces. Use us when it's convenient, then toss us aside. Not anymore. Because above all, this country understands the dollar sign. And it's time we start reserving ours for us. That's why I keep saying Black love, Black unity, Black strategy, Black community. Because, baby, we need to build our own infrastructures from soup to nuts. So we won't be out here begging for a seat at their table anymore. Baby, those days are over. So if that resonates with you, join the movement. Baby, everybody won't get it. And that's fine. But those that do, we're still building. So drink your water. Stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable. And mind your Black business. Happy Black History 365. And I'll see you next time.
3% of businesses in Black communities are Black owned. Let me repeat that. 3% of businesses in Black community are Black owned. That's a problem. And the reason why we have $2 trillion of spending power, but only 2% is spent in our community is because we have nowhere to spend it. Our money stays in our community 6 hours. Black people, we want to do business with each other. We just have nowhere to do business with. And so you have a solution. We have a problem. We want to patronize you. And then we're going to do everything that we can to make sure by word of mouth, as you're advertising, right? Because you need to advertise your business. We're going to make sure that we patronize you. We do business with Black people because Black people do good business. Shut out all that negativity that we've heard in the past that I don't do business with Black people because Black people don't do good business. Fuck all that silly ass shit. That's some self-hating, jive turkey, Negro ass shit that I don't subscribe to. We do good business, but we have to be in business to do good business. So now we don't have anybody to rely on except for us. Nobody's coming to save us. Stop waiting on the government. They've been very clear. They're eating their own poor white people. So they damn sure don't care about your Black ass. So it's time for us to get information so that we can be the owner and not the renter. We can be the business and not the consumer. We can be the investor and not the spender.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm praying that this video finds you wherever you are because it's an important video that, I think we need to talk about. I know it's not in my place to talk about Black American economy. It's not in my place. But the reason why I'm sharing this video, I'm sharing it so that my brothers and sisters, my parents in the United States, need to see this video. They need to see how America is, and they need to see and learn from some mistakes that Black people do, especially in the United States. There is one thing that I usually say, and I usually say that the only asset that a Black person has is unity. Because one thing that stands out in this video is like Black dollar doesn't circulate within the Black community. The black dollar goes straight away to the white community. When we try to look at the dollar retention, there's a research that states that the money only stays in black people's premises under 6 hours. And after 6 hours, it's gone. Another factor is that black people are not unified. Black people don't have unity. We don't support each other's business. We don't support our brothers and sisters' businesses. But I also like to recognize that there is an improvement when it comes to black people supporting each other. I would like to recognize that from what I've seen from the research that I've done, there is an aspect of black support, that black people are supporting each other. But still, we are here. We have black economic scholars that are trying to talk to black people to enlighten them and tell them the right things to do. And I think this video is just as important as it is to me, and that is it is to you, because it reminds us of one thing: black unity. Because all these other communities, they are buying from themselves. They are supporting each other. But we black people, especially in the United States, we don't support our own businesses. And when I say that, I'm also referring to ourselves back here. We have all these Chinese companies. We have all these Indian companies. So much here in Africa. But we don't support our own businesses. So it is upon black people. And I think for contextual issues, the setting is in the United States. We get to let the black dollar to circulate in the black community. So brothers and sisters, I'm going to let you watch this video and then I'll be back. I'll be sharing my thoughts in regards to this. So let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Let me say this, man, because I was just thinking about this. It's crazy how most of us black people, we work these jobs. And everybody got at least 20 family members that could come together and create something. Everybody got at least 10 family members that could come together, start an LLC and build something, a restaurant, a cleaning service, anything. But it's like we can't get along. It's like we can't come together and say, let's build something. Because most people don't trust other people. And we got wicked family members that don't even want to move up in life. They would rather just poke a hole in your boat and build their own boat instead of just building on the boat that we building together.
Go down your social media feed. Does it look like Black America's in a crisis? Go down your YouTube. Does it look like Black America's in a crisis? Right. Go through your Twitter.
True.
Go in. If you did not know how racist America was, and you went to Black Twitter, Black Instagram, Black TikTok, Black
Nothing
YouTube,
important there.
could you tell?
No.
Don't it look like we live in the best times of our lives?
Absolutely.
Because black people are like overgrown children. Slavery arrested our psychopolitical development. Slavery arrested our psychopolitical development. The slave system turned us into eternal children in this country. What do children do? They spend their money on the things that they like.
Right.
And they beg their parents for the things that they need. Is that not Black America? $2 billion on Air Jordans every year.
You're right.
$4 billion on liquor, $30 billion on hair and beauty, nearly $1 billion on chicken, turkey, beef, and pork, multiple billion on video games, multiple million on children's cologne. But half the black boys in America in 4th grade can't read on their grade level.
That's a fact.
Half the black boys in America in 8th grade can't read on their grade level. But we
Definitely.
spending $21 million on cologne. I don't excuse nothing another race does to my people. Because as a human being, you should be able to practice decency, whether you're dealing with a billionaire or somebody who's dead, broken, homeless on the street. You understand me?
Definitely.
But we have to look in the mirror too and look at how we make it easy for people to disrespect us. Because how does a people in your condition have the time to engage in this type of tomfoolery over here?
Yeah.
If I'm Chinese looking at Black America, how do I make sense out of this?
Right.
Y'all can't care about yourselves because as much as you talk about reparations and as much as you talk about the next presidential election, look at the money you waste. Imagine a Korean walk into a black community meeting on reparations, a Korean, and stand up and say, can I ask y'all a question? Why y'all in here arguing over reparations when y'all done turned my people into $1 trillion nation. Take $30 billion off y'all people a year. $30 billion a year. How much have we give the Koreans over the past 30 years? What's 30 billion times 30 years? And you talking about reparations? You see that? But black people are in denial about our self-hate. I tell black women all the time, if you would just stop hating the way God made you, you can take your $30 billion a year and build an independent school for every black girl out here. You could stop child sex trafficking. Black women could wipe out child sex trafficking for black girls by taking some of that $30 billion on here. But guess what? How I look is way more important than the condition of my people. Black men, same thing. We could take the $4 billion on liquor, the $2 billion on Air Jordans, the multiple billion we spend on vacations, all the money we spend on these damn non-black women. We could take that money and build black schools for black boys all over.
You can't show me a black Wall Street in America.
Burnt it down, didn't it?
104 years ago. Why we ain't built the new one yet? You can't show me one city where we own the bank, the school, the hospital, and the supermarket. And you know what's sad? Look at all these billionaires we got. Even with billionaires, we don't have no industries for the community. Look at my sister Oprah. And I love my sister Oprah. She came from nothing, from here, from TSU.
Yes.
And look what she became. But don't you know, when I visited Tennessee State, I was interviewed at the station where Oprah made her name. And I couldn't help but say to myself, this station still looks like what it probably looked like when Oprah sat here with all the white women you made rich on that damn show. You couldn't even give them enough money to fix up the station? Oprah is the richest woman in the history of the North American continent. But God forbid that woman go back to our ancestors having done nothing significant for her race.
Do you think Oprah's done nothing?
Give me something significant. Scholarships don't count.
Yo, whoa. You telling me that Oprah has done nothing and scholarships mean nothing while you're working on a school?
As Pan-Africanists, we believe you struggle at home and you struggle abroad. You gave our South African family a school. They needed that. Grade school is mandatory in all 50 states. It's no getting around it. College is optional. The reason why I don't want Oprah and other rich blacks trying to get away with giving out scholarships and doing nothing else, when you give a scholarship, you're giving money to either a white institution, and in many cases, a white-controlled black institution. And when that child graduates, there's no guarantee of employment. When you look at the cost of college right now, what is TSU a year in tuition now? 25. So that's $100,000 tuition, not including room, board, and the rest. What would be better serving our children? When we know more than half of blacks with college degrees can't find work, and most of them don't work in the industry they receive their degree in. Would we be better served with Oprah giving up $150,000 for an education, or Oprah giving up $150,000 for a business startup giant? In other words, go get your real estate license. I'm going to set you up with your first office and your first business. Go get your plumbing, your electric, you understand? Go get your stock and investment, get your trade certificate, and I'm going to set you up with your startup business. They should be financing entrepreneurship, not education. The future for Black America is not white man degrees. It is businesses that we run and can employ our own. Small businesses are the backbone of the American economy. And if they are the backbone of the American economy, they're the neck bone, chicken bone, and wrist bone of the black community.
This is going to piss a lot of struggling black people off, but I need to say this. As a black man who has came from nothing, from the struggling side, who became into wealth, I have to say I understand why the wealthy, because I always just question, like, why the wealthy black people don't help the black people at the bottom? And as a person of wealth that's black, I kind of understand it now, right? So it's like, if I help you, somebody at the bottom, I give you money, right? Because y'all don't want education, y'all don't want knowledge, y'all don't want to do better. Like, you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying all, it's 1% that actually want to do better out of the 17, out of the actual poverty number. All right, but it's only a 1%. Out of the 17.9 is the 1% that actually want to be something in life. The rest of them, I don't think want to be anything. So it's like all they want is handouts. They want things given to them. I give you money. You don't know how to keep money. What you're going to do is what you did exactly with the PPP loans, with the stimulus checks. You're going to go shopping. You're going to go buy things. You're going to go on trips. You're going to have crab boils. You're going to do all that stuff. You're going to buy the Gucci. You're going to buy all that stuff. I'm not going to build in the hood where, because real estate development, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to build in the hood because the hood is going to destroy it. Now my money is it's cooked, right? And then who has to pay to fix it? Me. My corporations and my partners and everything like that. Doesn't make any sense. Then also, you have the risk of being killed by your own people because they don't want to see you where you at. Then, when you do say something, like, for example, I'm probably going to get a bunch of these comments, and you're like, yo, man, that's not cool. You should be doing that. You should be moving to the next level. You get a mind your business. Why are you worried? I had a goofball say to me yesterday. I think he was trolling. If I'm buying a cybersecurity company, which we're finishing that up, why am I worried about people on welfare? So even when we say, we try to give you guys game and knowledge and everything like that, you get stupid poor people like that say stuff like that. Don't worry about us. Mind your business. You shouldn't be worried about us. All types of stuff like that. Once we give you advice and stuff. So I can continue, keep going with this. On why it's a waste of time to help them. It's a waste of time. Go on my videos. You will see 2 whiteboard videos. I showed 100%, by the way, how you can make a business that do not fail. Didn't offer to sell you anything, no course, nothing like that. I showed how you can make a business that cannot fail. 100% guaranteed success rate and is recession proof. So while everybody is struggling, everybody's going to be cooked in 2026, by the way. Everybody's going to be cooked. You will be the only one succeeding with people like myself and all of my people that's with me. And the government, by the way. So, and the rich people. So, like, the rich people, the government, and which we work with the government. So, it's like, you get the point. But all of the people who are poor, like this, they won't take the time to learn anything. I have to ask a question. When it comes to the black women that's in the hood, not all, most of them, what other skill set do you have other than shaking ass? I just want to know. I just want to know. Like, skill sets. You're going to be left behind. Again, with this AI thing, our people are going to be left behind. And then y'all going to be blaming systematic oppression and racism when the choice is yours. And then again, the wealthy, we can't say nothing to y'all because y'all don't want to hear anything. I always just questioned that. Like, why don't they help us when I was there? And now as I'm there, I now understand.
Watch this video with me.
Have you ever noticed how money shows up in your life just long enough to disappear? You get a breakthrough, a raise, a tax refund, unexpected check, and suddenly it's gone before you can even breathe. That's not bad budgeting. That's not just bad luck. That's a cycle. And today we're going to reset it. The poverty cycle is fueled by one core lie. I will never have enough. And once that lie takes root, it trains you to live from survival instead of vision. You start making short-term decisions. You start expecting lack even when abundance is near. And here's the dangerous part. Your expectation becomes a prophecy you live in. But God has already confronted this cycle. Philippians 4:19 says, and my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches and glory by Christ Jesus. That verse doesn't say according to your paycheck. It doesn't say according to the economy. It says according to his riches and glory. That means heaven is your supply chain, not your job, not your hustle, not even your circumstances. So here's your prophetic reset. Poverty is not your permanent address. Lack is not your identity. You are a child of a king whose resources never run out. Poverty says it will never be enough, but truth says he is more than enough. Poverty says breakthrough never lasts, but truth says I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you won't have room to contain. See, the poverty cycle is broken when you stop agreeing with limitation and start agreeing with provision. Let's break the cycle right now. Speak this with me. I renounce the spirit of poverty. I break every generational mindset of lack. I declare that abundance flows to me and through me. My needs are met, my vision is funded, and my future is secure in Christ. The cycle of not enough ends with me, and overflow begins with me. In Jesus' name. Now, you don't just say that, you step into it. Words create worlds. When you decree abundance, you shift the cycle. And here's your prophetic activation for today. Every time you spend, give, or save this week, I want you to declare out loud, this money is seed, not loss. Instead of seeing money as something that slips away, train your spirit to see it as seed. Seed that grows, multiplies, and comes back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Because here's the truth. You're not called to survive paycheck to paycheck. You are called to steward overflow. If this reset resonated with you, I want you to comment below. I live in overflow. Speak it, claim it, write it until your spirit believes it. And don't miss the next episode. We're going to confront the relationship cycle, why the same pain keeps showing up in different people.
Why is it that rich white people do not have to show off their wealth the way black people do? I'll tell you why. There's two reasons.
Talk to me.
Number one, non-Africans, white, brown, yellow, or red, they are preoccupied with the accumulation of power, not materialism.
Got you.
Black people are preoccupied with the accumulation of materialism. We want things. They want power. That's number one. Number two, the Caucasian, the Asian, the Arab, they were never stripped of their self-respect. So they don't have a need. If he's worth $1 million, I may not see it.
Right.
If you worth $1 million, you're going to have on a bling bling. I'm going to know you got money.
Well, not me, but
not as an example, just as a brother, right?
As a brother.
You're going to have on a check. I'm going to know you got money.
Yeah.
He might be 10 times richer than you.
Yeah.
I won't even know. You want to know why? His identity never went through the historical assault that your identity went through. You are on a never-ending quest to prove that you are somebody. So wherever you go, you got to show I got money.
We've had Buy Black campaigns. We've had For Us, Buy Us. We've had Black billionaires. But the racial wealth gap hasn't moved. Here's why Black capitalism alone won't save us. The idea is simple. If we support Black-owned businesses, we'll circulate money within our communities and build wealth. And it works to a point. Black entrepreneurs have created brands that become global powerhouses, from beauty to fashion to tech. But here's the thing. Capitalism on its own is a competitive individual game. If we're not also building shared infrastructure, a few success stories won't close systemic gaps. When we say Buy Black, we're still operating inside an economic system that undervalues Black labor, overprices our access to capital, and often displaces our businesses when neighborhoods gentrify. Without our own banks, distribution networks, and supply chains, Black-owned brands are often dependent on, and vulnerable to, larger non-Black-owned systems. Now, this isn't about abandoning Black capitalism. It's about evolving into Black economic ecosystems. So that means cooperative ownership models, community investment funds, Black-controlled supply chains, and institutions that outlast individual founders. It's not just about where we spend our dollars. It's about who owns the pipelines that they flow through. Black capitalism without Black infrastructure is like planting seeds without soil. We need systems that can be uprooted when one brand fails or one leader retires. I cover strategies like this every week in Creativity Meets Capital. Subscribe now via the link in our bio, and let's talk about building wealth that's collective, not just individual.
What if I told you Black communities lose over 90% of their money the second that it's earned? That's not just economics. It's survival slipping away. And here's what that means. Most of the dollars spent by Black families don't circulate back into Black-owned businesses. Instead, they exit immediately, going to corporations, chains, and industries that rarely reinvest in us. Compare that to other communities where money flips 5, 10, and even 20 times before leaving. That is how wealth is built. So, Imagine the power if even a fraction of that money stayed local, funding schools, shops, and futures. Justice starts with where we spend our money. So drop a comment. What's one Black-owned business that you support?
There was a study in The Guardian that said the median African-American household net worth is going to be zero by 2053.
Black spending power reached a record $1.6 trillion in 2021. However, Black Americans instead have seen their wealth actually fall by 14%.
We're going to have self-driving cars and trucks.
Well, the first in having a truly driverless truck take the road on its own with nobody inside.
30% of malls are going to close in the next 4 years thanks to Amazon. 2.5 million call center workers in the U.S. are going to get replaced by AI.
My name is Laura Morales, and I'm a chatbot designer.
And so why are they forecasting that African-American net worth is going to go to zero? It's because of this economic tidal wave that is coming.
Statistics are showing that we're behind the 8 ball, and it's been proven that technology is undefeated. So you have to start investing in that technology, or we're going to become a casualty of what it's about to do to us.
So let me teach you something that should shake every one of us. The black dollar, our hard-earned money, it leaves our community in just 6 hours. That's 6 hours, y'all. That means by the time you've gone to get your morning coffee to dinner, your dollar has already disappeared into someone else's hands. Now let's compare that to other groups, like in Latino communities. The dollar will circulate about 6 days. In Jewish communities, it lasts about 20 days. And then in Asian communities, the dollar can last up to a month, 28 days before it leaves. So you see the difference? That's the gap between wealth and staying broke. So why does this happen? Because most of the businesses in our neighborhoods aren't owned by us. We spend, but we don't see it come back in the form of jobs or ownership or investment. So when other groups spend, they're buying from each other, right? They're paying each other. They're building each other up. This doesn't happen by accident, y'all. It's the legacy of segregation, redlining, and deliberate policies that kept us from owning land in banks and major businesses. But the truth is, they couldn't stop our spending power. We still got 1.7 trillion every year. The problem is we just don't keep it. Imagine if we did. Imagine if instead of 6 hours, we circulated our money for a week. That would mean that more black businesses will be hiring more black workers, more black homeowners, more black wealth passed down to next generation. So family, we don't lack money. We lack circulation. And the minute that we change that, we change the game.
Did y'all know that before integration, the black dollar stayed in our communities, circulating in the black communities for 4 whole weeks? That means that black businesses were feeding black families, who were feeding black institutions, who were building black neighborhoods that were raising black wealth. But now in 2025, do you know that the black dollar stays in our communities for only about 6 hours? Yep, only 6 hours, and then it's gone. Back into the system that never wanted us to exist in the first place. I'll be the first one to say it. Integration wasn't progress. It was assimilation. A strategic dismantling. The destruction of the black economic power dressed up as civil rights empowerment. Do you really think it's an accident that everything that we built started to crumble after the access? We had our own stores, our own doctors, our own banks, our own grocery chains. We had our own everything. We were self-sufficient. And then integration came with the biggest con Black America has ever seen. With the, you can shop here now. That was the bait, and everybody fell for it. We left our businesses to die so we could spend money where we were never respected in the first place. Integration didn't integrate us into power. It integrated us into dependency. And now we wonder why we're at the bottom of every economic list. Because we traded circulation for validation.
So instead of imagining what happens if we leave America, maybe it's time America recognize what happens because we decided to stay here. Because if every Black American invested roughly 20 to 25% of our income every year into a total stock market index fund or into property or into land, That'll be roughly $400 billion with a B invested every year into an asset and not a liability. And if every black American did that in less than one generation, we would be the wealthiest group of individuals in the history of this world and on the planet. And if you get a chance, I want you to check out this podcast right here, where I talk about black Americans are not poor, because I'm sick and tired of seeing a lot of black social media influencers who look like me pressing this garbage that we're poor people because it helps their algorithm. Because when it boils down to it, statistically speaking, there is nothing poor about the African American community or the black community in this country. It's your boy Chris. I'm out. Peace.
And this is something that we always talk about doing, but seldom do as black folks, and that is support our black businesses. And in order for us to really achieve, our dollars really have to turn over multiple times within the community. You know, in the Jewish community, it turns over somewhere between 18 and 19 times before it leaves their community. In the Asian community, it turns about 8 to 10 times. You know how long it takes for a dollar to leave our community? About 6 hours, 6 to 9 hours. We go, we cash our check, we pay our bills at a check cashing place. They take money. We buy a little food, and then we take our kids to the Nike store. And that's the rest of our money, and it's all gone. How do we change that mentality? I think in large measure we do it by creating more of our businesses so that there are more opportunities for our folks to do business with each other. I'm from St. Louis. Like I said in the video, my dad worked at the post office, but we weren't rich, we weren't poor, but we never had any money. Anybody like that around here? And you know, the other thing is interesting is a lot of you never heard of the Roberts brothers out of St. Louis. I understand that. That's largely because rich people scream, but wealthy people whisper. And what we have to do is understand the value of being more wealthy than rich. You know, we see our brothers and sisters who've made it in certain industries. Of course, they only put us in certain industries to make big money, as long as we're entertaining white folks. You know, at that point, you could be bling bling all day long. And I've seen too many people with bling in their ears, their nose, around their toes that don't have 25 cents in their pocket. You know, we have to understand the value of sustainable wealth, generational. When we're born, we start at zero. When they're born, they're at about 60% already. I was driving around just the other day and somebody said, man, look, all these folks in cars, all this traffic, and look at all these buildings. Who owns that? And how did they get it? Well, after we gave them over 400 years of free labor, they made enough money to build Wall Street, to build the industrial complex, and it all came off of free slave labor out of the South. Now, unfortunately, our mentality continues to allow us to be nothing much more than a slave. And you might have a big corporate job, but guess what? You're only a paycheck away from poverty. So when I finished law school, I moved 2 blocks from the projects. I did that to ultimately run for political office. And within 2 years, I was elected to our city council in my 20s, youngest member at that time. 2 years later, my brother finished school and he joined me on the board of aldermen as well. Now, I'll also say the same week that I graduated from law school, my brother graduated from college and my mother graduated from college. So she wasn't gonna sit back and not let her sons, and let her sons only get out here too far without being right there as well. But that's tenacity, isn't it? And we know that our women have a great deal of tenacity and have always held us together. And really the leadership should come, you know, from our mother's side of our family, because if you really look at history, or if they were to right now do a DNA test on you, they really are looking at your maternal side of the family to determine where in Africa we are from. I'm part of the FraserNet group, and this next year they're going to tell me from whence I've come, which nation, and it's probably going to be multiple nations, but we'll see. But anybody know George Fraser? Some of y'all know George. Y'all know what George looks like, right? Yeah. Okay. For those who don't know, George is a lot lighter than me, and I'm pretty light. And I said, listen, if George can find that he's from the Cameroon, then don't worry about me. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to find something. Y'all can go on and track me down. It'll be cool, But, I mention Africa a lot because the origin of the human comes from Africa. At least that's the oldest known Homo sapien that's been found. And we are products of our ancestors, right? We are products of millions of people who copulated to create you. But what was the common strand that took place in that series from our origin? And that is our DNA. Our DNA mutated, it changed, it did a lot of things, but it's still a core base of DNA. Now, why do I get down with the science side of things? For two reasons. One, if you're religious, you can presume that the origin that created you was God, and therefore God's DNA is within you. And if that's the case, that means your spirituality comes from within and not some cloud out here. And so your responsibility to your fellow human is from within and not just symbolically from without or outside. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what is this DNA that's inside of us. I come at business from a whole different perspective on things. I look at it this way. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're going to be in the business, then you will usually have an empirical training, which means school, church, friends, books, etc., empirical knowledge. But what really sets us apart from that is our instinct, our gut, our ability to determine by feeling what is right for me to do. And we have to learn to get more in touch, in my opinion, with that instinct, and that's your DNA. That's that same DNA that sort of tells you when you're going down a dark street, hey, I need to get off this street and go over here, because dangers I don't know where it is, I don't see it, but I feel it. Let me make the move. Same thing may be true in business, if you want to consider that, to becoming the entrepreneur that's within you. Now, we all have dreams, right? And what is the first thing we have to do if we have a dream? We got to wake up. And then we have to sit up, and then we have to stand up. And you and I know that there's going to be, I have an Aunt Sadie who will say, your Uncle Tyrone tried to go into business, this business thing, maybe you need to get a job. Well, Aunt Sadie and those of us in our families who will slow us down from taking that leap of faith into business, sometimes we have to wake up, sit up, stand up, and unfortunately we have to tell them to shut up and get out of our way. Because that is how you're going to make that big leap.
Hello brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great from wherever you're watching this video. This is especially a difficult video for me to do because it's a video that calls out black people. Well, I think a person who calls you a friend or a person who is real with you, they'll always tell you the truth when you are in the wrong. I know that, as a matter of fact, I might not agree with all black people. I know I might get backlash for saying this or sharing this with you, but because definitely somebody will ask me, why are you so much concerned with the black American economy? What do you add to the black American economy? Definitely somebody will ask. Yeah, and they have all the reasons to ask. But what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to just report on these issues. I'm trying to share with you, and I'm trying to help you educate yourself by presenting to you this content so that you can get to learn. Because there's a segment of this video that shows people talking about the economic issues in the United States, especially for black people. And then at the end, we have a black economist professor that advises black Americans on the best way, on the best thing to do. And I think that just stands right for black people. One thing that stands out some black folks are saying that we really want to support our fellow black people, but black people are having challenges with customer services. I don't know if this is true, but I've seen it online. Some people complain the customer service from the black community not being good, amongst one of the reasons to why people don't support black businesses. And so the professor is trying to advise people to have good customer skills. The good customer skills that will make the customer come back the next day. So that while we say that people are not supporting black business, but at the end of the day, we are the ones that we still need to work on our customer services. We have black cards, we have black houses, where they're selling houses, but we are not seeing black people buying this, right? Black people are only going to buy from other communities, from going to white cards to buy their cars and everything. Those are just examples. There's so many things. But I just want to say that there is power in black people supporting each other. There is power in that. The economic pull that the black community will have is so much strong. And I understand why that is the reason as to why it is so much hard for white people to segregate themselves from you black people, because you support them. And now imagine if you support the fellow black people. Now imagine how powerful it could be if you would have taken that dollar and invested it back into another black business. You ask yourself why we are having so many white people saying how black Americans are so much supportive, and why we are having so black people saying how black people are not supportive. Just think about it. And that tells you the reason as to why all these things are happening. And so, I really find it so imperative for black people to understand two essentials. It goes to black people, all of them. First, it goes to black buyers. Two, it goes to black sellers. First, for black buyers, we are urging you, I am urging you, I'm using my platform to tell you that I think that it's significant for you to promote, to support, to elevate your fellow black brother or black sister. Probably they're having a business and you can buy something from them. Instead of going and buying from another community, buy from your brother, buy from your sister. Support your own business, because tomorrow you'll open your business. What do you think will buy from you if you don't support them? Right? So, while I'm talking about this, I think that it's imperative for you as the customer or for you as the buyer to think about how this will really help. And you could imagine if you had a business, and this will make the black communities, especially black areas, infrastructure will grow. When I talk about infrastructure, I'm talking about schools, I'm talking about labs, I'm talking about roads, I'm talking about black hospitals. All this will improve because black people are becoming self-sufficient. Because the last time I checked, black people have a high purchasing power. But it's unfortunate that the high purchasing power is not getting back into the black community. It's going to other communities that are enjoying this, but not black people. And so, I think that it's important for you to understand that. Also, another thing, now back to the sellers or black people with businesses, the CEOs, all these black people that are having all these, the ability to own and to sell and to, first, retain good customer service. You could train your team. You could train your salespeople how to have good customer skills, because these complaints that we are always having or hearing, because I've been hearing them from the social media, people complaining that the black customer service is so wanting, and some people saying that they'll never go to a black grocery shop or anything. Trust me, I'm not making this out of thin air. I've seen this in a couple of videos. A couple of research that I've done also highlights this as a factor. So brothers and sisters, we still have work to put, both from black buyers, both from black sellers, for us to support each other. I think that's a factor that we need to factor in. So please, I don't know what you think about this video. I just wanted to share with you the clip so that you can also get to have a sentiment of what other people are saying about the black community. So please let me know what you think about this. As you know, I'm your host and presenter G Stories, but until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.